First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. Thank you so much. These people have made me such a dignified human being, a wise human being. Target Vigil, first of all, I also want to thank you for all the testimonials. Those testimonials have helped me see this low life even better for the low life that they are, the clowns that they are, the trash that they are, and I embarrass them every day. When they go into the escapism of this false reality they put together and the way they talk to themselves or talk to me via V2K, and they try to sound in this way. Matter of fact, 2 seconds ago they were doing this thing to my toes and try to create pain, because for me, I know when they do these things to me, they've done that to children. I know they're connected to a program that harms so many people, including men, women, and children. I know when I see them, I correlate them to the torture, or not only my torture, but that they involve in a program that literally harm children. And for me, there is no escapism. They use a lot of clown individuals. They have no shame. Some of them can be involved in this program and be like, oh, well, no, we support this woman. You support these dead people who got killed from this mass shooting too, right? Trash. For me, they were always wanting to present themselves like this Avengers. Like, oh, it's fate. It's like, yeah, really? It's fate. Just like it's fate for these kids to be tortured this way. I'm not talking about some random torture of children. Like, horrible things are happening all around the world. I'm talking about target individual at this point. If you don't know that what's happening to you is not only happening to you, but to men, women, and children, you gotta understand that children are being tortured. What's happening to us is that we're test subject. They're using governmental technology, 21st century weapon system, that can do harmful things using energetic technology, meaning that they can torture you. For example, what they did to my toe, right? Was something that they did using this technology. The same technology is applied to harm children. The reason why they do that, the reason why they truly do these horrible things to us, is not because they hate this, avenging, and no. It's a purpose, a very, very, very sadistic purpose, but it's a purpose behind it that is to develop this technology. They need human subjects, men, women, and children. See the effect of this technology, these weapons, and damage us, men, women, and children, and see what damage works, function, and efficiency. The clowns that they construct to try to disorient you from reality is disgusting. But for me, it just agitates me, right? And I hear this perps interacting with me via V2K, and I know it agitates them too, because they wanted to be perceived in this fashion. They wanted me to think that these people are avenging. And so, via what you call voice to skull, V2K, and I'm calmly trying to speak because it's easy to be agitated. Because imagine somebody who's involved in some horrible crime against humanity, atrocities. Not only men, not only women, but children. Is here that no, you're gonna die, but you're gonna pay. But you know what he's involved, you know what she's involved in, you know who's dying. And forget about the expertise they have, how long they've been doing it for. But you know that right now, to do what they're doing to you, they have to be involved in something that does this to these children, to this woman. Target individual, do not lose sight of reality. Matter of fact, when I say sight, they talk about vision. You know they make people lose their vision easily. They do that not only to men, not only to women, but children. I'll bring children back again, over and over. Because these clowns, what they deserve to experience for what they involved in, for the nastiness they do to us, and the way they play with our brain, but not only our brain, but our body, and how they present themselves while being involved in this. I'm not an aggressive person. I will never dirty my hands with this trash. But the truth is, what they deserve, to do what they do, be involved in what they do, and then present themselves the way they present themselves is the most disgusting. At least I respect people who can openly say, listen, I don't care about these children. I don't care about these women. I love doing this. I enjoy this technology. I don't care if this is torturing babies, women, or men. I don't care. It's fun. I respect that better than being involved in a program where you hear the testimonials of the most innocent, the most vulnerable being tortured. Being involved in that, but like, no, you're gonna pay for what you did when you were a kid. That's what's happening, and I brought that up many times. It's like, oh, you traumatized this girl. Now a woman, right? They try to be like, no, she's damaged her. You traumatized her. You're fucking low life. These people, as much as they try to create this fantasy of reality, they are involved in a program where they damage children, physically and psychologically. It's horrible what they do to women. It's horrible what they do to children. But they know very well what they're part of. Right now, there's a theatric of clowns that try to disorient me and distract me from what you're going to hear. Well, apparently what I'm doing here is packaging this very well. I work with people of all sorts, co-workers. Some of them have made me a genius, but how dumb they make themselves be. I've seen a grown-ass woman looking at me, it's like, oh, we support this woman, I did this. Because I bring the testimonials of what these women are going through, what these children are going through. And she, to counter that, like, I did this. Yes, I did it. It's like, no. You just did involve yourself in a program that does this to children and women, and then want me to look at you as some kind of avenger. You're a piece of fucking shit. And you're a clown, and you have no self-respect. This is the same shit who look at me like, no, I will never lie. I don't like me lying, trash ass. A clown of a fucking I look at her, it's like, you know, are you on the spectrum? No, I know she's not. I know she's a very smart person, but she can dumb herself down when it's needed. She told me once, and that's the most disgusting part. She's like, oh, we support them. So you support them by involving yourself in a program that literally is the program responsible for torturing them. You support them. You're fucking trash. Why you give her them hugs? I'm talking about women. The delusionality and the craziness of how people can be on spectrum and really want you to stay on that. It's like, never, I'm going to put that in your face. You know how bad it becomes? This person start calling me how wise I was for bringing up the fact. It's like, hey, can people be involved in a program that where they literally are suffocating 7-year-old, blinding 9-year-old, sexually torturing 4-year-old kids? I say 4 on purpose because I'm going to bring that up again. 4-year-old and say 4 to stimulate me because they're mapping. 4-year-old kids, 3-year-old kids. Perhaps something might be wrong with them. That anybody who would knowingly involve themselves in something where they know children are being tortured, perhaps there's something going on there. I guess I'm too wise. I appreciate the fact that I have the chance to speak and be articulate because it helps me vent, and I need that. I'm surrounded by an ecosystem of people whose sole job is to disorient me. Like I bring back this, I know this is a governmental program that's doing that to us. I know the reality of things. As much as I'm hearing these retards, which I call retards, I'm sorry for them using their language, but it's so hard for me to not call them that. Because their job right now is to block out the fact that I'm going to speak about what they do to children. And tell me, oh no, we're going to crush you. They say random things. Of course, the government entities are crushing men, women, and children using this technology because we're just test subject. This is what target individual truly is, a guinea pig. And so I have to be thankful that I'm able to articulate that. I'm able to see that as much as being disoriented and not see that. Let me just say this again. I understand what this is about. And I understand there's a lot of reality being recreated in different fashion. One thing they like to do with target individuals, vilify you. They look for whatever they can. On top of being manipulated every day in disturbing ways. For me at least, I'm a target individual who deals with the V2K, voice to skull, right? Which they call it the mapping when they manipulate my brain. Right? And they say that and like they have no shame. Being a clown is what they are tasked to be. I don't know how we map it. So this technology altered the brain. One of the target individual of many who's forced to be experiencing this ways. Matter of fact, I say that I'm getting stimulations. They mapped it again. They vilify you and try to make you this danger to children, but on top of that, they start acting like they are here avenging. Before I go into the testimonials that packaged so well, right? Just pure testimonials, somebody saying what's happening to them. I want to bring up what they try to create. When I was in middle school, I was 13, 14 years old. Just to give you a visual of what a 13, 14-year-old looks like. Because they truly want to disorient that reality, right? The reality is no longer a factor here. They are constructed clowns. They are clowns, and as clowns, they want to create a clown reality. When I was 13, 14 years old, I'm talking about that age. That age. This is a child, right? You see what a child mentally at this age, perhaps it's not all the way there. It's a child. Perhaps you understand that kids at that age maybe can do things that today as an adult, maybe even not even today, maybe a year from now, for a year from this picture, would not even think about ever again. Never even think about doing it. It will not even come in their brain, right? At that age. Not even a year, 6 months from this picture. Completely. You understand? Now, I'm going to say some very wise things. I'm going to be this genius, this wise man that I have become now, thanks to this low life. When I was this age, or around the same age, I did something to myself. That's so. Now looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I was a kid. Matter of fact, let me just say that I honestly didn't even remember doing it, because at that age, you can do something impulsive, completely forget about it, and it completely disappeared from my brain. It was a typical act of a child that does something impulsively and never think about it again. Now, once again, I'm being a genius, so you understand its purpose. You need to do their job. What I did is something inappropriate that they always try to exaggerate. I did something inappropriate to myself. I don't need to go into details. They're using that as like they are benching for what I did when I was his age as a child to myself. Never molested the child. This is not what that's what they wish it was. They wish I molested a child when I was this kid's age. That I raped a child and all kind of different disgusting. Matter of fact, 2 days ago they made me imagine like mounting it. It's so disgusting. But the truth is something I did to myself. Reading between the lines here. Now, I myself had no recollection of it because, like I said, as a child, at that age, as you can see, it's a child. The impulsiveness of a child is of a child. They can do something, boom, stupid, and never think about it, and completely disappear from your brain because it was something that you didn't think that was bad or even care too much. It's just like a dumb thing because you don't understand what's really good or what's bad, good, like the boundaries of a child. The impulsiveness of a child is that of a child. And so it completely disappeared. I never thought about it again. It's funny today, like, oh, you see, you forgot, how conveniently forgot. No, not conveniently, I actually forgot completely because impulsiveness of a child. But I understand. I'm being too wise. I'm a genius at this point. Today, but in fact, when they make me have these nasty reactions that disorient me, that disgusts me, that disturbs me to the nth degree, they say what we're doing, we're mapping your brain to you when you were a child, that age. So this reaction you have when you see little kids, that's you. We mapped it to you as a kid. It's like, what? First of all, even when I was a kid, I wasn't experiencing that. But at the same time, you understand that you're saying that you made my brain basically autistic. Or some kind of mental handicap. Where you made my brain go into a non-developed brain. These clowns who are constructed by these governmental entities are coming on and try to create a disorienting reality by coming and speaking about random things using different tonality. I'm a target individual who deals with V2K. You're going to hear what voice to skull is, and you understand how they're able to pipe in voices into your brain. They sound very childlike people, and it sounds like a clown trying to be like, oh, it's so obvious. Oh, I'm so tired. Yes, it's like they are kids. Even grown up, it seems like they become the autistic people or on spectrum. And I don't even want to insult these autistic people. I think it's even beyond that. It's just, they become mentally handicapped. So, for me, they bring that up and be like, no, we're going to pay for it. You're going to burn. This is fake for what you did when you were in middle school. What I said, what I did as a child, it's like what I said. I did something to myself. Impossible. It never happened again. They try to exaggerate to make it sound like they're very avenging protectors. Trash ass. Because the truth is, I'm not trying to minimize what I did as a child, but I'm putting it in the perspective that should be put in. A child at that age is very much capable of doing this inappropriate, impulsive act as a child. And reality is, never happened again. Never even thought about it. Matter of fact, completely forgot about it. To see grown-ass men and women, but oh, you forgot. You forgot. I was like, yeah, because I was a child. Now, today, they are here saying, no, she wants justice. Talk about what I did as a child, and talk about this person now who's in her late 30s, in the late 20s, and they made me say that. In the late 20s, about to be 30 years old. Matter of fact, when I look at her now, and I became friends with her on social media for the purpose of, simple purpose, to ensure that this trash involved in this program, which you're going to hear what they do to men, women, and children, do not escape. They really want you to think, oh, now you pay avenging. No. People who torture children and women or involved in a program that does these horrible atrocities and talk about child acts and try to create this fantasy of, wow, now she's traumatized. This woman now, young adult woman in late 20s, is living her life, has no idea who I am. Man, I don't understand why. She was really young. Even me, as an older kid, couldn't even remember that. But I'm like, okay, you think I'm going to let you escape? You involved in a program that torture babies? I don't care if you partake in that, but you know what this program does right now, today. Today, we talk about children still dealing, being tormented using this technology. You can always find testimonials. I send them a message, say, hey, I don't know if you remember me, this person that they say I traumatized. I used to live with you. I was like 13, 14 years old, you're younger. And I don't know if you remember, I would love to connect with you and see how you're doing. Please send me a message. Of course, there's no response, but I understand. It's like she doesn't know me, which is okay. Matter of fact, the most sad part is I talked to her father way before knowing I was a target individual, and she was like, he told me, he's like, oh, they don't even remember you. We talk about just how the kids and everything. No idea. I was like, oh no, she doesn't really remember. But the older brother kind of remember you, but not really, right? So I know. But the reason why I sent the message, it was simple. I refuse to give the luxury of people who partake in a program where they literally torture children think that they can live this fantasy. So I'm like, I will go see her in a heartbeat. And they're like, no, she knows you. No, she doesn't. But if she does, I will rush to her. Why? Because I know these people are involved in a program that tortures children. And I will never let people who can participate in a thing that does atrocities to children also then become avengers and talk about me at this age and try to even exaggerate what I did to make themselves feel like more like avengers. Never. I will run to her. She knows that and matter of fact, I can send another message. I'll buy that ticket to go see her. It's like, hey, remember me? I know she doesn't. And she knows me. It's like she doesn't remember me. But I'm not gonna let anybody involved in a program that tortures children and let them live their fantasy. They tell me now I pay when involved in a program that make babies suffer. Delusional trash. Matter of fact, what they do now is like they make me see when I see 4. Oh, a stimulation. 4. So they're like, oh no, I remember what you did as a kid. 4. Really? You're gonna hear 4-year-old being sexually tortured. This trash are the low life. Anybody who blocking out the fact they torture children in whatever involvement of organization they're part of to live a deluded reality, I cannot let them do that. That's the sole reason why I went on social media, befriended this person that they say they that traumatized. They made her a lesbian. Listen, there was like, she was like in arts and whatever. Matter of fact, now she's like, she does like, it's funny. It's not even funny, but let me just say how my brain is not so manipulated. This person is now a person who does therapy of some sort, right? And they're trying to say, no, but remember on your back she was doing this therapy thing. You see, that's why today she's this therapy. A physical therapist. I don't want to say exactly what she does, but it's not really specific. It's physical therapist. And like, you see, we know what she does. Like, shut up. Trash ass. I know what this program is about. I know that you know more than what's happened to me, but you don't know what's gonna happen to you. I will never let them live their fantasy. You know, they just did something with my elbow. You know what they do to women? Do you know what they do to children? They handicap them. So for me, when they do these things to me, handicapping me, they want me to think, oh, we'll pay. Trash ass. I'm gonna send another message just to put it in their face even more. Now, the reality, she has no idea who I am, and if she does, she's like, okay, well, she has no recollection of what happened, because I don't even have recollection. She's never been this traumatized by me. But this trash traumatized men, women, and children and damaged them physically and psychologically. Why am I saying that? Okay. Let's start with a 4-year-old. Remember, this is the age I was when I did whatever I did to myself, which they try to exaggerate and talk about traumatizing her. Now, reality. This is, when I do that, they call it packaging everything right. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm showing testimonials of torture of children. That's me packaging it. Now, listen, 2 children who are also being utilized as test subjects and what they go through. You've heard that before. I'll put that in their face every fucking day. So when we see each other, they understand where I stand on things.
I am currently a speech language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions, despite having a great day.
By the way, you heard it right. 7 years old with autism. Let me move it to the testimonials that I experienced that I can relate to.
Way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated.
Yes, this 7-year-old, according to what this target individual said, was being severely suffocated because they can restrict the lungs. 7 years old with autism.
The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated,
let me say this again. This child who's 7 years old with autism.
Then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. And I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome.
So you just heard an age 4. Remember when I say 4, what they do? Stimulations. Oh, we pay, now you pay. You're a 4-year-old with Down syndrome and her older sister who's 5 years old with Down syndrome. These people who say now you pay are involved in something that does this to these kids.
observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow. I observed this.
What do you think would happen if I saw this shit involving a program that does these things to 4-year-old Down syndrome children, 5-year-olds Down syndrome children, and sexually torture them? It's not unique to, listen.
On 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his...
A 3-year-old boy sexually tortured. Now, let me just bring up who's gonna make me pay. This trash of low life involved in whatever's happening to me, participate in this program, but also participate in a program that does these things to children, are saying I'm gonna pay for the inappropriate acts of a child of that age, which they have to exaggerate, to make it worse, to live this deluded reality that they think I'm going to let them live in that luxurious reality, where they gonna make me pay. You heard what they do to children in this program. To counter what you just heard, it's like, oh, I did this. No. Let me repeat that. They are involved in something, a program, where this technology is applied to children in these ways. Target individual, please say your testimonials. These perps have no shame of how clown-like they can be. They use whatever they can. Listen, I was even in the office with somebody. They were asking me about some weird things about billings and stuff like that. Something was off. This guy started making himself laugh, like, oh, see, that's validation. Oh, it wasn't fate. Oh my gosh. I'm like, are you serious? Matter of fact, it wasn't even rough. They were wrong. Something was off on the other end, right? But I'm like, this is what you're going to hold on to make yourself believe that you trash us involved in something that does these things to kids are going to make me pay for an act of a child of that age, while you openly aware of what you're involved in is torturing children. You piece of fucking retards. I've never let this low life live their fantasy. I don't care how educated, smart. Do you think I can let this shit escape in the target individual? I'm sorry for the language, but for me, you heard, let me repeat what you just heard not too long ago. A 7-year-old with Down syndrome, autism, being suffocated. A 4-year-old and 5-year-old, both of those kids, these little girls with Down syndrome were sexually tortured. Then a 3-year-old boy. Listen, this is happening today. Hey, but they're gonna make me pay. This piece of shit. They have no shame. No shame for torturing. That's not even what I'm saying. It's like, you gonna make me pay. You involved in what you do. You know what they're like, now she wants justice. She doesn't even know about me. And if she knows about me, she doesn't even remember anything of that. Because I didn't even. But guess who's begging for help and asking for justice?
Miss Catherine Nestor.
Miss Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here. It is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today. There is new work for the Commission for Human Subject Protection on our shores. And please give us a dramatic...
You understand who wants justice? This is reality. This shit want me to think now we're speaking for you. Don't give a shit about her. You're just using her. But in fact, I'm gonna try to give and see her. For trash like you involved in these things, where this woman begging to help and for justice to be done for what's happening to them and their young children. Fucking trash. And they use these losers of low life. They come in all shape and form. But it's okay, let me be your prophet. They got a little scared. And I think reality hits. They got a little nervous. Because these things I've been saying all the time. Listen, they control everything I'm going to go through. They've seen it, they've manipulated, they orchestrated. But the things that comes to them is always a surprise. And it will be a surprise. I've said it long enough to see it happening in front of me. Laughing about how I'm gonna die, talk about how my eyes gonna be I'm gonna be tortured in this way and that way, and I was saying, okay, let me be your prophet. You'll get yours. What they hate to hear is me, who is a test subject like this woman and her young child being damaged psychologically and physically, said is, right now, you guys are gods. But don't worry. You'll see who's God. What made them nervous is, of course, life is life. You will get yours. Right now, enjoy this fantasy you can put together. They are out here painting a reality that they want. They're here pretending like, no, we don't. She wants justice. You don't care about her. You probably don't even have anything about her. Like, they don't even interact with her. They don't care. And even if she doesn't, like, she wouldn't even remember anything, because I didn't even remember. I myself, kid at that age, didn't even. Because it's such an impulsive, and they try to exaggerate. And they're like, no, she's traumatized. No, she's not. No. Matter of fact, there's a moment where she was writing a poem and this and that. They're like, oh, you see, she's traumatized. And then you see her living her story, and living her life, enjoying being a young adult. They even got to the point where they start making me think maybe she's a lesbian. I'm like, you trash ass. For me, I was like, you know what? I reassure you, I know she's not been traumatized by me, and she barely knows me, and not even barely, she doesn't know me. And if let's just say now she knows me, I'm sure it's because you guys, but I know that's how they impact her life. But I know whose life you've impacted, and I know children are being tortured. I'll run to her, and I know it'll look stupid, because when I send her a message like, who the fuck is this person? It's like, I know, I'm just doing it because this low life want to pretend like they're doing it for this person. And I don't want them to live in any luxury of that nature. You know what? Sometimes they say, oh, we're going to torture you the worst way. Oh, no. Worse than the way we torture women and children. It's fucking trash. They use these childlike people. It's like, these people deserve... Listen, I'm not an aggressive man. But you understand why somebody would go into an aggressive version. Because you'll see this shit. It's like, oh, we're going to torture you worse the way we torture these women and children. Because what you did as a child. I'm like, you fucking trash. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit that is involved in a program to torture and do horrible things to children. You're a nasty low life. And now you're trying to use this inappropriate of an act, which you try to exaggerate. Bottom feeders. Never. I'll never let this low life live that fantasy. Whole family go through these things.
And have had a decent education. I live in El Dorado Hills, California, with my wife of 14 years, Lorna, and our 5 children. Nicole is 15, Patricia 14, Christopher 13, Dylan 9, and Avery 16 months old. Not only have I been going through this, but my entire family has suffered right by my side. We have all experienced the same type of harassment on different levels. We have all suffered the same symptoms while this harassment was going on. Some of our physical symptoms include severe tooth decay and vision loss, unexplained rashes and burns, severe headaches, mood swings, anxiety, thyroid problems, high blood pressure, heart problems, vision loss and cancer. Two of my children were born premature, which I attribute to this. Our son Dylan, now age 9, was born very premature. He was born at 31 weeks. During her pregnancy with Dylan, we were being targeted more so than other times. At the delivery, there were weird men walking and waiting around the hospital. Right outside our delivery room window, there was a white cargo van parked with 2 suspicious men inside. They were there the entire labor, a delivery. Our son had to be transported to another hospital 45 minutes away. When arriving to the Toa hospital, those same men and van were present. Three of my children have severe rashes that have not been explained by several doctors. These rashes have been present for several years at a time. If interested, I will gladly furnish you with detailed photos of the rashes. Our infant daughter, at 3 weeks old, was diagnosed with Lerner's syndrome. This was after a severe rash appeared on her body after a few days of torture. We were told by a couple doctors to take her home and love her and spend the rest of the time we have with her. They told us she would ultimately die from this syndrome. Thank God that Lerner's syndrome was not what affected our daughter. Doctors are still dumbfounded by her rash and symptoms. Sadly, we know that her symptoms were effects from the torture this poor innocent 3-week-old baby endured. Recently, I lost complete. I exhibited the flashing lights. My 9-year-old son Dylan complained about the lights. You will often hear that vision is something that is greatly affected with
a 3-week-old. So sick they thought it was, this is happening today. This is, I accidentally find some like testimonial, not even some woman saying, me and my young child of 3 years old are being irradiated or something. This piece of shit are participating in this. They're grooming this low life to try to be like, no, I'm so proud to be here. You're proud to be involved in this. And you're using this person to try to present yourself as this adventurous, you nasty shit. Remember, pay. We're gonna make you pay. You hurt a whole family from the early teens to infants, tortured the same way they torture us, all adults. It's funny, one guy's like, oh, you'll see again. It's like, because they blind people. You heard what happened, vision, commonly doing that. You know, right now, this perp's talking to disorient me. Oh, we're gonna mask this portion of trash. That's nasty. Don't worry, I'll see you for what you are. Thank you for giving me this dignity. Thank you for giving me this honorability. Thank you for making me wise when you try to be a clown. I will put that in your face till the death. When you see me scream, understand there's something coming for you. In whatever shape or form. It doesn't have to be as extreme as mine. It's gonna come. For me, they're like, oh, you're gonna be so sick, you're gonna have this cancer, you're gonna have this cancer, you have this cancer, you're gonna, okay, you're gonna have HIV plus all this cancer. So I'm like, really? You need one of these things and you're good. Just one. And you'll get what you deserve. That's it. The rest is theatrical. Like, you will involve yourself in this foulness. One little condition. You'll be like, okay, I was God for so long. I call myself God. I'm like, please continue to call yourself God. Today, to annoy me, they love to say, we're gods. Like, yes, you are, for sure. When I pray, like, I'm talking to this, somebody else. So you are God. But I will never let this trash talk about now she wants justice. She doesn't even know me. She's living life not even, and today what they do, because they have these ways of manipulating the brain. They give me stimulations, right? But it's manipulations. She's somebody who's in the 30s. Oh, sorry. About to be 30. She's like late 20s. They give me stimulations. But it's the same stimulation they make me have toward these little kids that they say I experienced when I was a kid. But they're mapping on her when she's a young adult in the late 20s. Some trash was actually making noise campaign. They have no shame. I'm like, really? Come on, do more noise campaign, you retards. I'm so thankful that these shits will never live that luxury of the fantasy they've put together. And I'm glad that on TIA Day 2020 in August, I was there saying this.
Like that. But it is what it is. The only thing you can do is stay strong and focus on the people you love. You know, I was lucky enough to have my mother who was going through the same thing that I was going through. They started saying all kind of crazy stuff to her at her jobs. And
I'm a victim of organized stalking, electronic harassment, microwave torture, V2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm
That's me.
One from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture, and I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We need this to
stalking,
stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, and I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the US, in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
We've become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen.
I will never let this trash paint a fantasy to escape from reality. They enjoy this program because what they're doing is they're involving themselves in technology that one may call 21st century weapon system. It's been developed or developing for years, 50 plus years, and this man described it
was 100 years ago, based on what man has contributed, and that's just in the RF, not to mention everything else that we've done. So the human body couples with external fields of all kinds. For radio frequency, you can look at the Radio Frequency Dosimetry Handbook, 1986, University of Utah, produced for the Air Force. It gives you the resonant frequencies for each vital organ so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause it to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level. Not with bullets and bombs. It's a perfect Republican weapon. No offense to Republicans here, but you don't want to destroy the property. You have to rebuild it afterwards. This is a weapon systems of the 21st century.
of the 21st century.
It's the very beginning of it in a lot of ways, but the research goes back over 50 years.
So when you hear these kids grabbing their genitals, being blinded, can't breathe, it's not that people are literally like harming them physically, but they're being harmed using this energetic technology that can harm your body, like they were doing these things with my tooth, make me feel this pain, but aim those toward the genitals. That's what they do. That's what they're part of. I hope this packaging that this trash want to block out will make sure that they see themselves for the low life that they are. I will never let this low life live their fantasy. If I see them in person and they play this clownly life, I'll see them as like, man, this shit right now is involved in a program of torture. Who knows how many he or this person have done this to, and how long? Who else is this person could be doing that to? They deserve something that's gonna be magical when it happens to them, but they're gonna think I'm a prophet when I'm not. I'm not even that super wise man. I'm just saying the obvious things. But they have blessed me with giving me this dignity. God gave me strength for the horrible, horrible things I'm gonna go through. Because I'm a test subject like this child and her mother, like this whole family in this program led by these governmental entities that have been working on technology that can attack the body and the mind using this energetic level technology, weapons, and this trash that comes up with this nasty manipulation. Matter of fact, like I said, 2 nights ago, whatever, they start making me have dreams, and they make me imagine mounting, and then they start trying to make me imagine that what I did as a child at that age. Was mounting a child. So nasty. And they make me imagine that. Told my target individual, stay strong.